disagree, though, that Jesus taught that he's the Son of God, who was sent into the world to give his life and pour out his blood for the remission of sins?
One eternity later.
What's so interesting, this guy's question has been answered like over 3 times. And for some reason, he insists on doing this panicked, nervous laugh, interrupting behavior.
And your answer to his
so
question was no, right?
My answer to the question is Jesus does not teach the theology pertaining to the crucifixion that Christians attempt to portray.
Do you hear that? You see how she qualifies that?
Korra, are you confused or are you stupid? Or are you stupid and confused? How is what you just said an answer to the question? If she really thinks that's an answer to Avery's question, then her intelligence is not just half that of any man. It would actually be half that of Ali Dawa.
And we're proud of that.
So it all began with Eastside Isa hosting a live where he asked Christians, why aren't you a Muslim? Then he brought Avery up and they started the conversation.
My main reason is that Muhammad disagrees with Jesus and the previous prophets regarding their theology.
So Avery's response is simple. I am not a Muslim because Muhammad contradicts Jesus and every other prophet in the Bible. And one of the teachings of Jesus in the Bible that Avery points to is Jesus being the sacrifice for sin, found in the book of Luke amongst other places.
Luke 22 verse 19, it says, and he took bread, and when he had given thanks, he broke it and gave it to them, saying, this is my body, which is given for you. Do this in remembrance of me. Yeah. And likewise, the cup after they had eaten, saying, this cup that is poured out for you is the new covenant in my blood.
While the conversation was on this topic of Jesus teaching that he's the sacrifice for sins, Korra the Explorer joined the live stream and the host said this.
Let's not both jump on him at the same time. When he wants to talk to you, he can say that. I'll back off if he feels like he wants to talk to you, but I'm letting her up here for a second.
But later this happened.
Listen, I'm gonna go grab my microphone real quick. Okay. My phone, and
I'll wait for you to come back.
I'll be right back. It's gonna take less than 30 seconds. Just let me go grab my microphone. Korra, if you have anything to say, go ahead. I'm gonna be right back though. I'm not leaving.
And that was where the drama began.
Yo, what's up, man?
What's up?
How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you for asking. All right, well, while he's gone, I wanted to engage with one of the points that you made previously. So you believe that Jesus taught that his crucifixion ended sin sacrifice, correct?
Now, maybe Korra wasn't listening. Maybe she misheard Avery, but Avery didn't claim that the death of Jesus put an end to sin sacrifice. And Avery, like a gentleman, politely clarifies his claim.
That's not what I said. But what I said
is that not
was,
your belief?
What I said is that Jesus taught that he is the Son of God, who came into the world to save the world and to give his life as a ransom for it. If you disagree with that part of what I said, then that's what I mentioned.
Exactly.
She just said exactly. But you're about to find out that these days when a Dawagandi says exactly, he or she is about to misrepresent you intentionally.
Which is sacrifice putting an end to sin sacrifice, correct?
That's not what I mentioned.
For the second time, she's misrepresenting Avery. But you know, maybe there is a big bad bug in her ear. It happens to the best of us. So let's give her one more chance. Avery will explain his position again. And this time she will get his point. I mean, there is no way she will miss it the third time, right?
Wrong.
Wait, you don't believe? Wait, so Jesus coming and being a ransom for the world doesn't put an end to sin sacrifice?
It puts an end for the need of any sin sacrifice for your salvation, but that doesn't get rid of the tradition of sacrificing bulls, because we see that they do that even later.
Avery's claim is unambiguous. Jesus' death on the cross is the sacrifice for sin that puts an end to the need for sin sacrifice according to the Mosaic law. But it doesn't mean that after his death, Jews stopped offering sin sacrifices in the temple. Then he asked Korra a simple question.
Do you disagree, though, that Jesus taught that he's the Son of God, who was sent into the world to give his life and pour out his blood for the remission of sins?
Notice the question doesn't say, do you agree that Jesus taught that his death put an end to sin sacrifice or the need for sin sacrifice? So saying Jesus didn't teach that his death ended sin sacrifice isn't the same as saying that Jesus didn't teach that his death was for the remission of sins. But somehow, Korra's response to Avery's question will treat both claims as if they are one and the same.
All right, perfect.
Yes, it always begins with perfect. That's the sign that what follows will be complete nonsense.
I believe that that theology is inconsistent with what the New Testament teaches, especially the teachings of his disciples, for example, James.
What? What theology is inconsistent with the New Testament and James? Is that an answer to the question? What is any of that a response to?
Right.
Okay.
So you mentioned very briefly that although it put an end to the need of sin sacrifice, this doesn't necessarily eliminate the tradition. Now, let me ask you, were the disciples later practicing sin sacrifice?
Yeah, no.
Korra and other Dawagandis should take note. Did you see what Avery just did?
Yeah, no.
Now that is how to answer a straightforward question. If it requires a yes or no answer, then give a yes or no answer. Afterwards, you can expound all you want. Now back to Avery.
Yeah, no. So let me just kind of backtrack here because I don't feel like you answered the question. I asked, do you believe that Jesus taught that he is the Son of God who was sent into the world to give his life as a ransom, pouring out his blood for the remission of sins? What you responded by saying was, I believe that that theology is inconsistent with New Testament theology. So that's not really an answer to the question. So do you believe
Yeah, it
Jesus
is an
taught
answer.
this or no?
Yes, she thinks saying, I don't think that's consistent with the theology of the New Testament is an answer to the question.
Do you disagree, though, that Jesus taught that he's the Son of God who was sent into the world to give his life and pour out his blood for the remission of sins?
If that is inconsistent with James and the rest of the New Testament, fine, you can say that, but it doesn't tell us whether you think that's what Jesus taught. Jesus can teach something, and you can claim that his disciples contradict his teaching, but you haven't told us if you agree that what is being contradicted is the teaching of Jesus. But Korra, the rising star of TikTok Dawa, somehow doesn't get this, and what she continues to say will make you agree with Sahih Bukhari 304.
No, not in the way that you try to portray it, because
Okay.
the issue is when you make the claim that Jesus taught that he is the Son of God and his sacrifice was a ransom for mankind and that he put an end to the need of sin sacrifice, that is inconsistent with New Testament theology. So unless you want to say that the New Testament is inconsistent, then no, I would not grant that Jesus taught that in the way that you attempt to portray.
Did you notice the Dawa sleight of hand? Korra must think that she's David Blaine, but even her prophet doesn't think she's that intelligent. Avery didn't ask her if she agrees that Jesus' death was for the remission of sin.
And that he put an end to the need of sin sacrifice.
Nobody added that part to the question, and Korra knows that. And she's doing this because if she admits that Jesus taught that his death was for the remission of sins, that would contradict the Quran, and therefore Islam is false. And what this shows is that Islam is a religion that can only be defended with dishonesty.
Okay.
Now, since I've answered that question,
pause there, 'cause
I wasn't done speaking.
Okay, because it sounds
So
like you're about to move on
since
to
I've
something
answered your
else.
question.
No, you didn't.
No, I
though.
mean, I answered your question. I said
you
not in the
didn't.
way that you attempt to portray it, such that
That's not an answer to my
Jesus-
question, Korra.
it is an answer to your question.
Look,
actually.
look.
If she really thinks that's an answer to Avery's question, then her intelligence is not just half that of any man. It would actually be half that of Ali Dawa.
And we're proud of that.
So saying not in the way that you think implies that you do believe he taught this, just not in the way that I frame it. So
No, I don't believe that Jesus taught that.
Thank
no.
you. So there it is. That's the answer. So the answer is no.
Yeah, I do not believe
I
that
got you.
Jesus taught.
I
Wait,
got
hold on
you.
one moment.
I got you.
I'm going to clarify exactly what my answer was. I do not believe that Jesus taught that his sacrifice put an end to sin offering or the necessity of sin offering, which is Christian theology.
Korra, are you confused, or are you stupid, or are you stupid and confused? How is what you just said an answer to the question? You're like those students who spend 2 to 3 hours in the exam hall answering a question that is not on the exam paper.
The point that's being made, Logic, is that when we take your theology as a whole pertaining to the sacrifice of Jesus Christ, no, I do not believe that Jesus Christ taught that his sacrifice put an end to the necessity for sin sacrifice, which is
That's a
reflected
shift.
within your Christian theology.
Korra. Nobody is asking you to take Christian theology as a whole. You can agree with one part of it and disagree with the others. You can claim that all of it together is so contradictory. You can say James contradicts Paul and Paul contradicts Peter and Peter contradicts Jesus. But guess what? That's not what Avery is asking you. And thus far, you haven't given us a clear answer to Avery's question.
What you did and what you're trying to do is shift the discussion. The discussion isn't about whether or not this is the final end of sin offerings. The question was, do you believe that Jesus taught in the gospel that he is the Son of God that was sent into the world to give his life and pour out his blood for the remission of sins? Your answer is flip-floppy. At first, you're saying, not in the way that I think, which implies, yes, you do believe that, but just not in the way that I believe it. But then when I brought that to you, you're saying, no, I don't believe that. But then you're flip-flopping it back to your first answer. So before we get to whether or not this ends sin offerings as a whole, let's deal with phase one. Did he teach this at all? Did Jesus, it's a yes or no. If you don't believe that, we can get into it. Did Jesus teach that he's the Son of God who was sent into the world by his heavenly Father to give his life as a ransom for the remission of sins? Yes or no?
All right, beautiful. That's a great question.
Thank you.
Okay, I guess this time she will give us a clear answer to the question, right?
Wrong.
Now, we're going to go ahead and flush out exactly
yes
what
or
that
no.
means.
Answer
because
the
it
question,
seems we're
please.
going to have to break down what Christian theology is.
It's a
theology
yes
is for
or no,
GodLogic.
Korra, and then you can expound. But I
Can
want an
you
answer.
calm down? Oh, I want a yes or no for my question.
Your question
Can
is
I get a
segue.
yes or no for my question?
Your question is off
Wait,
topic.
hold on. Can I get a yes or no for my
You
question?
will once we get to that topic. I promise you.
No,
But first
wait,
you
hold
gotta
on. Logic.
focus.
I think you have a fundamental misunderstanding of how this
Can you
conversation
answer the
is going
question,
right now.
Korra?
This is exhausting. You know, people often ask why I don't debate Muslims. This is why. Those I have spoken to in private, this is how they behave. They can't answer simple questions and they always want to control the conversation. And by golly, they love to project. Only on rare occasions do you find those in whom there is no guile. It is as though their religion has conditioned them to act this way.
So I answer questions when I get my questions answered.
Korra,
so
can you answer the
Logic,
question,
instead of
please?
you interrupt, hey, Logic, do you mind not interrupting?
Korra, do you mind answering the question?
Interrupting kind of feels like you're
Korra,
kind of
do you
panicked. So
believe that
can you do
Jesus
me a
is the Son
favor?
of God?
Can
That
you
Jesus
do
taught
me
he's
a
the Son of
favor?
God that
Can
was
you
sent
do
into
me
the
a favor
world
and
to give his
calm
life as a
down?
ransom, and
Why
that
are you
belief
so
in him
panicked,
brings
Logic?
remission of sins?
This is a civilized
Do
conversation.
you believe that Jesus taught
Why
that?
are you so
Yes
panicked,
or
Logic? What is
no,
going
Korra?
on here?
Yes or no, Korra?
What is going on here?
Yes or no,
Now,
Korra?
it seems we're going to have to break
Do you
down
believe
Logic's
it, Korra?
question.
Since this was going nowhere, Avery decided to return to his earlier conversation with the host of the live stream.
Hey, host, if she's not
does
going to
not
engage, brother,
teach-
I want to get
Well,
back to
I'm
our
actually-
conversation.
And you won't believe his response.
Agree,
Issa,
he's
this
not
is
speaking
sad
to you,
what
so
you're allowing
stop
to happen on your
running.
platform, man.
Stop running,
You're
Logic.
muting up
Can
when
you
your
answer the
sister
question
Korra
now?
doesn't even know what's
Wait,
going
hold
on in the
on. Now that
conversation.
you
Yes, he mutes himself and would rather sit quietly in the corner and watch like the Warner as his live stream degenerates into a shouting match. But to his credit, Issa Alcock later decided to unmute himself and act like the host that he is.
Avery, talk to me, Avery.
Yeah, I am.
have
Do you
an
want to
idea.
engage or not?
So you could give your argument for whatever it is you want to give that we were talking about after me and you respond, and you feel like that you've had your question sufficiently answered, or I feel like I've had mine answered. Are you willing to continue speaking with her after me and you speak?
As long as she's willing to engage.
It seems as if he's unwilling to continue the conversation unless you answer the most recent question he asked you with a straight yes or no. So are you at very
Okay.
willing? Are
Well,
you
what's
at least?
interesting though, host, is I want to ask you a question. Is this
Look,
a Muslim panel or is
She
this
can't
a
even
Christian
answer
panel?
your questions.
It's a
when he
Muslim
answers.
panel. I'm a
Wait, is this,
Muslim.
okay, this is obviously a Muslim panel, so Logic is gonna have to learn that he's not able to
She-
control
Issa,
Muslim lives.
No, I'm not asking you to let him control it. I'm not asking
You
you
get
to
what I
let him
mean?
she can't even
So
answer your
if-
question, Issa.
Regardless of whether or not, wait, hold on.
She's
Regardless
incapable of even
whether or
answering
not,
you,
is
Issa.
this guy okay?
Answer him.
Why is this guy manifesting?
Yes
yet
or no?
again?
Are you willing to
Can
answer the
you-
question?
can
Yes
you
or
do us
no?
This went on for almost an hour. Multiple times, Korra was given the chance to answer a simple question and she kept repeating her non-answer.
My answer
Thank
to
you.
the question is Jesus does not teach the theology pertaining to the crucifixion that Christians attempt to portray
Do you
that
hear
he
that?
did.
Do you see how
That's
she? You
the
see how she
point.
qualifies that? How
he did
Christians
not
portray it.
teach
We're not asking
such
you.
a- yeah, Christians such
statement.
as
Look,
God
Even the host is a moron, and it's not surprising at this point. He's asking,
Asking
such
you.
a- yeah, Christians such as
like, how can you be this stupid? Imagine that you ask, do you agree that Muhammad claimed to be a prophet? And I respond, no, I think that contradicts the theology of the Salafis. Would that be an answer to your question?
If I
been
ask you,
answered,
Issa,
can he
does
engage?
Jesus teach that
Wait,
God
hold on.
is
Arisa,
one?
now that his
And then
question
you
is-
answer and
Bro,
say,
can this guy get
well,
muted or something? He's
well, I don't
manifesting.
believe that Jesus
Can this
taught
guy
that
get
God is
muted,
one
bro?
in the way that
He's
you
actually
believe God is
incapable of
one.
engage- Why is this guy
Do
screaming?
you see how
bro?
that's not an answer?
I
This
don't
It's
guy
a
is like, I
non-answer.
wasn't even
Ever say
done
that to that
talking.
question,
He's
to be fair,
talking
though.
over me.
Look,
Can he
look.
get
So
muted?
Issa, so here we have
Can
it.
this guy get
so
muted?
she's
He's talking
unable
over
to
me.
answer the question.
I need one at a
Yes.
time.
Can
I need
this
one
guy
at a
get
time.
muted? He's talking
Right.
over
Avery,
me. bro.
Avery, I've multiple times I've asked her to let you finish. So can you please let her finish really quick?
But
then
she
I'll hear
did
you
finish. What are you talking about?
Wait, hold on. Wait, no.
Once
This
I
guy
started talking, she started talking
laughing
over
and
me.
panicking in the middle
the
of my
heck?
answer.
This host is not wise. Compared to him, Korra sounds like a theoretical physicist. And here is the part where he tells us what really matters to him.
I am willing to continue the conversation, but I'm also not going to mute either one of you. I'm not going to drop either one of you, and I'm not going to, I'm not going to force her to be silent because
Cool.
at the end of the day, I'm positive my lives usually don't get more than 800 views. We're at 3,000 right now. So I'm positive that both of you are bringing people into the live. Everyone is getting money from this right now. We're all getting money together, all three of us. So my point is that we're all just, we're all just getting some money right now, but
You're not supposed to say that part out loud. Come on, what are you doing? But hey, keep getting that money. That's all Islam is good for at this point. A religion that attracts grifters like feces attracts flies. You won't be the first to use Islam for personal financial gain. That will be Muhammad himself. And you're just rightly following the sunnah of the Prophet.
This isn't part of our religion. There's a reason to it. Yeah? We have no doubt. And we're proud of that.